Hello traders, hello everyone, my name is Gregor and welcome to our new episode Surfing the Elliott Waves, where I'll look at some of the most interesting developments for this week. This video has been brought to you by Orbex. I will look at the euro, cable, gold, stock market with ASEAN and dollar Mexican peso. Now, looking firstly at the euro dollar market, he didn't go anywhere far lately. We are still consolidating, so it's important to keep an eye on a bigger picture. Here I'm looking at the daily time frame, where I'm still expecting more weakness into this wave C, which is the sub wave um, of this wave D. So I will be looking for a new low here coming in the next few weeks, but then just be aware of price stabilization. Now, when it comes to this wave 4, well, we could be maybe still working with a triangle scenario here, or maybe a retest of 1.14 is also very possible, especially if stocks will be able to hold the yesterday's lows after that sharp move to the downside. As now stock market is now recovering, so more upside on stocks, which I would not be surprised if this happens in the next 2 days. This would obviously also keep the supports in place here on the euro dollar. Also, keep an eye on Powell today and the CPI figures. This will be very important because, as you know, Fed is trying to fight the inflation, and of course, if they will be keep repeating higher interest rates, this could be very positive for the US dollar. So sooner or later, I think that this euro dollar will be seen at lower prices. After all, you have on the other hand the ECB, which is not probably is not going to do to hike rates actually this year. Okay, so this central bank divergence will likely keep this euro dollar in the downtrend. However, Powell will pick his words very carefully probably today, because I'm sure that they realize that any too aggressive hawkish view could have a very bearish impact on stocks. So this is something that we should keep in mind as well. So euro for now sideways, resistance at 1.4, 1.14. Sooner or later, I think the breakdown could be coming. Now let's take a look on cable. Now pound is on a different scale, probably due to this open economy. Despite higher cases in higher number of COVID cases each day, still there are no new restrictions, and this obviously is good for economy, and that this can be one of the reasons also for still very strong uptrend here on cable for the last few weeks. Of course, hawkish view from the Bank of England is also another bullish outlook. Now looking at the daily chart here, we have a very nice free wave drop here with a wave C reversing from the lower side of this channel. We are now at the upper side of this channel, so I think that this breakout could occur. However, you are seeing the fifth wave here on the 4-hour time frame, and we know that after every 5 waves, correction follows. So just be aware of these potential pullbacks before market moves even higher here. Now let's take a look. Also, we set on gold. Gold is sideways consolidating, so nothing has really changed much. Only current wave B is becoming much more complex. Okay, so firstly here for December, we have seen a very nice move to the downside, and then we just stabilize. So I think that this was a very strong move, an impulse, and this is now the sideways consolidation. So after an ABCDE subwaves that I'm tracking here very closely, so after I see this completed pattern, that's when I will be looking for a wave C to the downside, and wave C could be a final leg of this higher degree triangle here in wave 4. So I know that these Elliott waves can be sometimes very confusing for some, but just keep in mind that the easiest to read this chart is just to recognize the higher degree trend and trying to recognize a correction. And how we know that it's a correction? It's a very overlapping price move, pose unidirectional moves in a tight range, and this is exactly what we are seeing here on gold. So this was a very strong reaction to the upside, but now we're now just in this corrective pose for more than a year. So I'm thinking this to be a pose on the way up, so that's a correction. But unfortunately, this correction, as I said, is still incomplete. maybe we'll retest this lower side of the triangle before market turns higher. Now let's take a look on the S&P 500. So as you said, the S&P 500 and stocks in general have seen move to the downside recently, and I've been repeating that at the start of the year I'm seeing a very strong resistance on the S&P 500 based on two interpretations. The first one was, and still it's valid interpretation, it's a flat scenario here for this wave 4, where wave B moved to a new high but with 3 waves, and here I had this ending diagonal. Okay, so both suggested that we could see limited upside, and what we are seeing right now is a very sharp reversal to the downside, currently to this trend line support, or this line of the wedge if you want. So we still see room for more weakness if we consider this flat scenario. 4490 level would be ideal support, while here on the second count the much more important support would be at 4272. So I think that there can be more upside, but since we spiked only to the downside yesterday, I think that for now this rally is probably going to be a little bit higher. Here I have this 4-hour time frame. Notice that we accomplished this 5-wave drop, and looks like that we are now building only first leg of a minimum 3-wave recovery for 61.8%. So I'm looking and expecting a little bit more upside here on stocks, and then we will try to figure out if this is really going to be only a temporary corrective rally or maybe something more significant to the upside. Also, when this, if we look back to the 4-hour time frame, daily time frame, when this fourth wave setbacks will be completed, one of the counts confirmed, that's when again yen crosses, I believe, will be very interesting. So I've been looking at ASEAN today, and looks like that this one is here moving sideways, consolidation after a very nice and strong move from 2020 low. So this consolidation makes sense. Always market will try to make 5 steps and then 3 steps back. Okay, that's how it works. So I'm looking now this to be a triangle here in wave B, and I'm missing another leg, wave E. And since we moved quite nicely towards the upper side of this trading range recently, I would not be surprised if maybe this wave E is already in place, especially if maybe stocks will see the limited upside. Okay, but when stocks will complete this higher degree wave 4, that's when things could become very interesting for ASEAN to see a new break higher. Now let's take a look on the final market today, which will be dollar Mexican peso. Now, as you know, crude oil has recently stabilized. We have seen a very nice move towards $80 per barrel. It can be a very strong resistance up there, especially if stocks will see a strong sell-off, but overall, even in such case, I would be expecting only a temporary rally here on dollar Mexican peso. So what I'm looking at here is on a higher degree time frame charts, looking at a weekly scale here. We completed probably a 5-wave cycle. We reversed very sharply to the downside with one leg in impulsive fashion, so I think that's a wave A, and you then have seen a very nice move into wave B back towards 22.00 resistance with corrective characteristics, as you can see clearly here on the daily chart. Okay, so this was an overlapping recovery with confirmed by a very nice bearish reversal here on the daily charts. So I think that that was a corrective rise, probably completed wave B, meaning more weakness could be seen here this year on dollar Mexican peso, but of course after rally. Now looking at the 4-hour chart, maybe this rally is not far away. Notice that we are seeing price in a breaking down into a 5th wave, so maybe some supports around 20.00 psychological level. Then just be aware of a rally before market sees even more weakness. Of course, this rally could occur if crude oil would see a reversal down from current $80 per barrel. Traders, thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and again, talk to you soon.